Hi, this is Michael Waits recording live from Money 2020 Asia 2025 in Bangkok. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Insurance for the New Possible, where we discuss the future of finance, technology, and insurance. We are joined today by Chulayuth Lochotinan, head of Thailand at CAPCO. Thank you so much for coming to the show today and joining us at Money 2020 Asia 2025. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And thank you for having me.
It is my complete pleasure. Okay, let's jump into this. Given the increasing reliance on mobile technology, especially among the younger demographics, how can insurers in Thailand leverage mobile strategies to attract and retain clients?
I think for insurance companies to thrive in the future, you need to really develop a mobile first strategy, right? And really become like a mobile tech company. And your mobile strategy doesn't just limit to the mobile application that you offer to the customers, but also the mobile applications or technology that you offer to your agents. And not just that, it's the ecosystems of other fintech as well, like the payments space, like the super app for lifestyle, like Grab, for example, that you have to embed your products within those platforms.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how agents benefit from mobile technology and maybe how that's different from it was 3-5 years ago?
Sure, especially in Thailand, where like life insurance, for example,
Right.
There's still a lot of reliance on agency.
Yep.
And so how do you help the agents sell? Because in the past, a lot of insurers have been building applications, various applications to help their agents. But these are separate things that have been built on an ad hoc basis.
Right.
So the trend now is to consolidate all of that. And many insurers call that a super app, but for agency. Right?
Okay.
So how do you combine all of those apps so that, as an agent, you wake up one morning, you know exactly who to call, what products to sell to who,
Right.
and when, right? Because you have to be contextual, and then we can discuss about the personalization and contextual later.
We'll get to that too, yeah.
But it's important to be selling the right product at the right time.
You talked about a super app, right? I just want to run through what my experience was when I bought my health insurance a few years ago from an agent who was carrying an iPad or some kind of tablet. But I felt like that was really just to show me what the products were. Is there the flip side of that being developed or already developed for them to get leads, to close leads, and to do all those types of things that agents normally do that aren't included in something that I need to see?
Yeah. So it had to be relevant, right? And at the moment, many insurers are changing their paradigm of the model rather than offering like a product shelf or like product category.
Yeah.
Which is, you don't wake up in the morning thinking, oh, what insurance product do I want to buy? No one is sad enough to wake up and think about that.
I feel like I'm the only person in the world that may do that. I don't know, but go ahead.
It has to be seamless. And many insurers now have already adopted the embed insurance, which is not a new concept anymore, but it has to be done right.
Right. So talk to me about, you've used this word relevant a couple of times already. Kind of how would you define relevance? And then what are some of the challenges that are being faced to kind of embed this relevance into products?
Yeah. I mean, doing KYC, with that, you only know the name, you only know the address, the mobile. You don't have the personalization that you require to be relevant.
I want to talk more about that in a second, but go ahead, yeah?
So we've been even touched that now, if you like. So in order to be personal, example, I have 2 kids, right? That's personal, but that's not enough. You have to be contextual as well, right? So I have 2 kids, but contextual means that that I have already paid the term fee for my kids, for example.
I was going to say for school.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's contextual.
Right.
So what kind of personalization do you need in order to entice me to buy your products? So if you know that I've just paid the term fee, maybe you can offer me a term life insurance, for example, that would cover for my kids' education.
So this gets back, this is an interesting topic, right? Because you're talking about an app that the insurer creates and through which they get data. Why do you think Thailand is still so agent-centric?
And say that again?
Why do you think Thailand is still so agent-centric?
Because they need assurance. I don't think agency reliance is less on the non-life side, like motor insurance.
Sure, motor insurance is like a click away.
Life insurance is more complicated.
Yeah.
And I think Thais will still like, face-to-face kind of meeting to learn more about the product, because some of them can be really complex. And it's also the insurer's job to simplify the kind of products that you want to sell. If you want to sell more direct without agents, then you really have to think of ways to simplify those products. But it's also, I still like to talk to my agents, to be honest, when I want insurance products. What I don't enjoy is when they call me to say, oh, well, do you want to buy this and that product when I'm having a meeting? That is really not contextual, not personalized.
Right. Yeah, I do the same thing. So I text my insurance agent at the beginning of every year and just find out what is my coverage, when do I need to pay for it, how much is my premium for this year and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to do that in an automated way.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's an age thing. I'm an early adopter for technology. It's just that I think for that type of insurance, I want to talk to a human.
But as I said, you don't wake up thinking about insurance. So sometimes that's the importance of being contextual, right? You need to know the customer's requirements or demands before they even know themselves, right? Because maybe I'm not going to approach my agent to say, hey, I want this and that. Most people realize that they want life insurance by the time they realize that they're dead, right? I wish I had life insurance.
Geez, I should have probably had some insurance for that. But do you think there's a way to get people to understand more like why that type of coverage and protection is important to them? And I'll tell you why. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and we were talking about how GDP per capita in this region is expanding. And as it expands, your financial circumstances now allow you to acquire things you couldn't acquire before, right? So it's not life insurance per se, but now you think, now that I have this thing, I don't want anything bad to happen to it, right? It may be your first really nice mobile phone. Can I get coverage on that? Can I get screen protection? Do you see that as a trend as well, that as people become slightly more well off,
they
think more about protection?
Yeah, better buying power.
Right.
And they want to insure things that they value. You'd be surprised people who would rather insure their car rather than their life. Does it mean that they value their car more than their life? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they're showing off their car more than they're showing off their life, and that's just important to them.
Yeah.
That was always true in Japan.
Yeah, but those device protection should be embedded, right? You're not going to consciously think about, okay, I just bought a phone, I need an insurance. Not many people would think that. So if it comes as a bundle, when you buy the phone or when you buy whatever you want to buy from e-commerce platforms, for example, that are the kind of things that is a journey that has to be embedded, and embedded needs to be seamless.
But how would you describe a seamless experience? And let me give you an example, then you can tell me how this might work. I go to buy my mobile phone at whatever brand A is, right? But I go to their shop. I don't do it online.
Yeah.
I scan to pay everything. We can spend hours talking about how convenient paying for things in Thailand is, right? But when I'm scanning to pay, where does it fit in that I'm supposed to do this? How does that get embedded?
It could come just after the buying process. You can
even in a shop, yeah.
Yeah, in shop, yeah. You can. It could be even like bundled along with the pricing that explain. You can opt out if you like. I mean, there are various strategies you can do it. You can either opt in or opt out depending on how you want it. I think the similarity is when you buy, like if you're traveling on a low cost airline, for example, there are various options
all the time.
Right? So how do you embed travel insurance into those kind of scenarios? And there are good ways and bad ways of doing things, right?
Okay.
The bad ways of doing things is to make it look kind of scammy, as if the low cost airline is trying to make more money out of you. You have to pay for your luggage, for additional luggage, for the weight, and here comes the insurance. I mean,
so how do you fix that?
Okay, you have to explain and story tell, right? Because if you're saying that, okay, would you like to buy a travel insurance? Yes or no? I would be inclined to say no, right? Because travel insurance, I know it's for travel insurance, but what's in it?
Right. What's the benefit to me?
Yeah. So you have to story tell within that journey.
Okay.
And where do you place that insurance bit? Before, after, there are various ways of doing it.
Right.
But try not to place it in the area where your perception of the insurance is that they're trying to make more money out of you. It has to be convenience.
Right.
And things like travel insurance, device protection, convenience is the key.
Yep.
I find embedded insurance concept like having a seat belt in a car, right?
Yeah.
When you buy a car, you never think of the seat belt. You don't know how cool
it's
the
not
seat
an
belt is.
add-on.
But if you have an option like, okay, would you like a car without a seatbelt or pay $100 more with the seatbelt? Of course, I'm going to pay the $100
for sure.
More seatbelt. It has to be something that is a no-brainer,
right?
Like that, it bundled to your needs and bundled in your lifestyle, and that's what I mean by the seamless. I don't really like the term embedded so much because it can be perceived as those kind of like legal clause that's embedded into your your contract. But seamless is like something that you need, but seamlessly you kind of get it.
Can I ask you a little bit more of a nuanced or a little bit deeper question about like the user experience or the user interface? How do you think that has to be built to make it feel like it is more seamless?
That is a tricky question because there are various design principles that could be applied. But that's UX is very important, and the journey. Where do you want to place that
put it, right?
Within the journey? And but I think it's more important on the storytelling, as I tell you before, right? Not just bluntly try to sell whatever travel insurance. You need to tell what if this happens to you, or often. If I'm traveling and I'm on a transit, I have to change a plane.
Right.
What if my flight delays, and what would happen to the other plane, right? How can I get covered? If I'm traveling for business and I have a conference like this to talk to, and delays is not acceptable.
No, it's not. Right. And I was just thinking, like, when we live here, but when we travel to Singapore, we bring like a mobile studio with us. And there's a lot of equipment in there. It's not so much the value's high, but it's more like if it gets lost, we can't do our recording. And that's a real problem. Yeah, maybe we should insure that stuff when we travel. That feels like a good idea. Sorry, go ahead.
I think bundling is also a new concept that can be applied to like a non-life insurance companies. By bundling, I mean you just don't buy individually travel insurance or device protection. So if an insurer know from contextual technology or whatnot that maybe a person is, say, traveling to Korea she's like a fashion influencer traveling to Korea to buy clothes, right? So how can you bundle travel insurance with goods protection? Maybe if she goes to do a plastic surgery as well, you never know. That kind of insurance or the income protection in case things go wrong, and bundle that in a way that is enticing. Right.
It's interesting. And you talk about storytelling. So I was recording with somebody in India, and they were saying that they were going from Bangalore to Mumbai for a Coldplay concert.
Yeah.
And the concert was outside. So they actually had concert insurance that was bundled into the price of the ticket that they bought for the concert, because if it was canceled, they had a lot of embedded expenses there that they would want to get some kind of return on. And that was actually kind of interesting. And the guy was telling me that it was really easy to buy. And it made sense. And this is the relevance I think you were talking about before.
There's some Taylor Swift
it just made perfect sense. How does open banking affect all of this stuff?
So it helps in terms of contextualizing things, because with the open banking, with things like NDID and all the open banking concept and components, components. It allows you to understand your customer better. It allows you, like I said before, if I just pay my term fee, it knows that. And so a bank may offer me an education loan for my kids. Insurer may offer me a term life, for example. Those kind of products, so then you know exactly the personalization that comes with contextualization and dynamics, right? By dynamic, I mean that the premium changes according to your lifestyle, according to whether I'm a good customer in the face of my bank. Do I pay my mortgages on time, for example? It knows those kind of information so that you can underwrite the products that are right for me at the time.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit about how digital platforms and mobile tech we were talking about before can be used to improve penetration. Because everyone has a mobile phone and a lot of people are transacting online. So how do these work? And can partnerships play a role in helping penetration? How does that work?
Mobile penetration, very high in Thailand.
Very high. Almost more than 100%, right? In some cases.
90% people have access to mobile phone and internet. So that kind of bridges the gap between the people and the financial products that are exposed to. But then again, how do you make it more inclusive? Is the education, is the financial literacy that companies, whether it be banking or insurers, they need to provide. How do you make it simple so that people understand? And don't forget things like chatbot and voice bot. Some people ask me, if you have a chatbot, why do you need a voice bot? Because there are populations that are illiterate. And think of those Myanmar people in Thailand. They can speak Thai, they can understand, they cannot read.
And they can't write it.
And they can't write. So, and things like chatting, and this is not just limited to inclusion. People tend not to chat within the mobile application. Not within the insurance mobile application.
Right.
They tend to chat via line in Thailand, right?
Go ahead. So Line and WhatsApp and stuff like that, right?
That's your part of your mobile strategy that we talked about in the beginning. Is that okay? It's not just limited to the applications that you're building. You have to reach out to the popular chat platforms, which is Line at the moment for Thailand, some WhatsApp. Yeah. And how do you kind of automate that so that Line can answer all of your inquiries using AI, using
So what does that mean? You integrate the connection between the insurance platform into, let's say, Line or WhatsApp, using some artificial intelligence to create a voice bot or a chat bot into Line, which is a place where people are already interacting anyway.
Yeah.
And that provides a great sort of seamless interaction. Yeah.
And with the technology, like Gen AI, translation goes seamlessly. Right?
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Yeah,
really easy to do. Are there operational efficiencies that can be gained through using mobile technologies?
Of course. The use cases like eKYC, for example, onboarding. Like people no longer, like especially in banking, no one wants to sit around in branches, right? It's not fun.
I definitely don't.
Right? Even if they serve coffee, I still don't go to have coffee in the bank branches.
Oh my God, I was in my bank for an hour and a half a couple of weeks ago just to get my card changed.
Just not good experience.
Terrible
so
experience.
If you can onboard with the NDID technology, you can onboard people online, and that's smooth onboarding. And then go to e-policy. So the way that you buy insurance can be completely done online, right? You can issue e-policy. They're working on that right now. And then servicing. Why do you buy insurance? Because potentially you want to be able to claim, right?
Protection.
And the trust and protection, the claiming is very important. Many of my clients come to us approach CAPCO about the claim journey. How do you make it better? How do you make it more seamless? Everyone is talking about STP, straight through processing, but it's actually straight to people at the moment, which is not really straight through processing.
No, really. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, people have done, they work on a journey. They use a consultancy to come up with a journey. But once you find out that once you do like a process mining of that process, it goes off tangent, right? It goes off into permutations of manual work and everything, which is not the way that it should be.
So with all the data and all the information that you have, all the stuff that you see, all the people to whom you speak, how do you see traditional insurers in Thailand or even in the whole region changing over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think it's time to adapt because you no longer be selling insurance products off the shelf.
Right.
Because insurance products would need to be, as I said, seamless and contextualized. So addresses to your need at this particular time. Right, so it will be more personalized products rather than the off-the-shelf products for sure. Probably the reliance on the agency would be less.
You think so?
Definitely for the non-life sector, and maybe more and more for the life sector as well. The agent, you still need human to be able to close sale, to explain. But if the bot can explain faster, better, clearer than humans, then that's better, right? But there are use cases whereby, it's even better to get the bot to understand you and recommend you products, and then you may consult an agent afterwards, because many agents may sell you something that they are familiar with, and these products are not the products that are the right products
that
for
you might need, right? Yeah,
they just want to sell you this product because maybe they get more commission, maybe they've just been selling it all their life. It's just easier for them. They just don't have to learn the new products, right? There are new things to learn every day. Sometimes some people just don't like to learn that much.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, this has been really great. Chulayuth, Lochotinan, Tan, thank you so much for doing this today. Head of Thailand at CAPCO, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.